предков. Он подчеркнул значимость этих достижений для укрепления культурных связей тюркского мира и международного признания казахстанского искусства.
Do you know what Dimash just achieved? Is it more and even better than a Grammy? Well, let's dial back. Every once in a generation, a voice comes along that completely shatters our understanding of what the human body can do. You might know the high notes. You might have seen the viral reaction videos. But today, we are giving you the exclusive, unfiltered story of how a kid from Kazakhstan went from a toddler on a local stage to a global phenomenon, and ultimately, the cultural ambassador of the Turkic world. Grab a seat. This is the story of Dimash Qudaibergen. Dimash. To understand the man, you have to look at the toddler. Dimash was practically born into a symphony. Both of his parents, Kanat and Svetlana Etbayev, were well-known and celebrated singers in Kazakhstan. While most 2-year-olds were just figuring out how to run without falling over, Dimash was already making his first minor appearances on stage. He didn't just inherit his parents' flawless vocal cords. He inherited the intense traditional work ethic of his grandparents, who played a massive role in raising him. By the time he was just 5 years old, he was officially taking structured piano and vocal lessons at the local children's studio. But the true unsung hero of his early years was his grandmother, Miwa. She is an absolute legend in the Dimash story. Every single day, even when she was suffering from severe, debilitating pain in her legs, she made sure to walk little Dimash to his music classes. He has often spoken about this deeply personal detail, making it clear that he owes his foundational work ethic entirely to her. It was exactly at that age that all this early effort culminated in him singing on a real stage for the very first time. The spark was officially lit. Dimash didn't just wake up one day as a global superstar, he trained like an absolute machine. Knowing he had a gift, he threw himself into his education, attending the Ahmet Jubanov Music College and later the Kazakh National University of Arts in Astana. He was rigorously and classically trained in Bel Canto, a highly technical operatic singing style. Through grueling practice, he developed a vocal range that is frankly absurd, 6 full octaves. We are talking about a voice stretching all the way from a deep resonant bass to an altino, a piercingly high register rarely found in male voices. But instead of locking himself exclusively into the traditional world of classical opera, Dimash made a bold choice. He decided to do something entirely his own by fusing his flawless operatic techniques with contemporary pop and the traditional Kazakh folk music he grew up loving. He was building a weapon, and the world was about to be in its crosshairs. The world first started to turn its head in 2015 when he crushed the Slaviansky Bazaar competition in Belarus. But the real earthquake, the moment that shifted everything, happened in 2017. Dimash entered the massive, highly competitive television show Singer 2017 in China. When he opened his mouth to sing the impossibly difficult French song Terrien, détresse, jaws hit the floor. He became an overnight megastar. Fans were literally fainting in the live audience, overwhelmed by the sheer power and raw emotion of his voice. Recordings exploded across the internet. Professional vocal coaches all over YouTube were practically losing their minds, pausing his videos second by second to analyze how a human being could biologically hit and sustain those impossible notes. From that moment on, it was a whirlwind of sold-out stadium concerts. He started singing in dozens of different languages, breaking down borders and uniting his incredibly dedicated fan base known as the Deers from completely different cultures under one roof. Which brings us to March 5th, 2026. The journey from that humble local music school in Aktobe arrived at the grand stage of the Astana Opera Theatre. Dimash wasn't just performing this time, he was being recognized for a legacy that had grown much bigger than his unbelievable vocal range. The International Organization of Turkic Culture awarded him their absolute highest honor, the Order of the Cultural Ambassador of the Turkic World. To truly understand how monumental this is, consider this. Dimash is only the second person in the entire world to ever receive this specific title. The only other recipient in history is a Nobel Prize laureate. Through his barrier-breaking music, his masterful use of traditional Kazakh instruments and his massive global reach, Dimash achieved exactly what his grandmother dreamed of on those snowy walks to music class. He took the rich, beautiful culture of his homeland and made the entire globe fall entirely in love with it. But the title of cultural ambassador isn't an isolated triumph. It is the ultimate crown resting on a mountain of historic, international achievements. The path to this moment has been paved with records and accolades that sound almost fictional. Remember that earth-shattering debut in China? It didn't just win him fans, it launched an unprecedented global conquest. He became a staple on the world stage, sweeping up the best vocalist in classical music and a special prize for Discovery of the Year at the Russian National Music Awards Victoria, often hailed as the Russian equivalent to the Grammys. In 2023, he took Europe by storm, winning the prestigious Carrick Foundation Award in Serbia for his outstanding contributions to global culture, joining a hyper-exclusive list of laureates that includes Nobel Prize winners and legendary film directors. And he didn't stop there. By late 2024, he was making history in the Middle East as the very first person from Central Asia to be honored at the distinctive International Arab Festivals Awards, Diafa, in Dubai, walking away with a coveted statuette for his contribution to global art. Fast forward to 2025, and he was lighting up the legendary Madison Square Garden in New York, while simultaneously dropping exclusive, pyrotechnic-filled cinematic performances on the official Grammys Global Spin platform. Back home in Kazakhstan, he was rightly crowned Cultural Figure of the Year at the National Awards. He has completely revolutionized what it means to be a crossover artist, dropping hits in 16 different languages, consistently selling out global arenas from London to Moscow, and bridging continents with collaborations alongside titans like Igor Krutoy, Placido Domingo, and Hauser. So, is what he just achieved better than a Grammy? When you look at his entire soaring legacy, a journey that literally unites nations and preserves a deeply historic culture through the raw, unfiltered power of a 6-octave voice, a Grammy starts to look like just another trophy on a very, very crowded shelf.